Yeah, my name's Marty Richardson,
And my name is Merve Omari, but you can call me Merv.
and we were just chatting
Mm.
as we realised that our stories actually were quite connected.
He asked me if I've been down this way, and I said, "Yeah, I have, but it was ages ago." And then he said, "Oh, I've had some newcomers, refugees, come down for a couple of days, but it was years ago." He's like, "Oh, it was years ago," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then somehow I mentioned that my church is a multicultural church. And then he asked me, "What church is that?" And I said the name. And then when I said the name, he said, "Wait, I've had that group come to visit me and my family." His eyes lit up and he said, "Do you have a sister?" And he's like, "Is her name Jemima?" And immediately when he said that, I freaked out because now he's like in my family. Like, how does this man that I just met like an hour ago know my family? How long was that?
13 years ago.
13 years ago. I was this tiny. 3 months ago, my sister was asking me, "You remember that young girl that I made friends with 13 years ago? I've been looking for her on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. I know her first name." And here I am at a campsite with somebody that might possibly be the father of that girl that my sister's been looking for. This is too much for me. I was like, oh my God. Like, my sister has been looking for your daughter because they had such a connection. It was only 2 days. They must have been like 9 and 6.
Yeah.
Such
Yeah.
a huge connection. They was sending letters to each other, and somehow they didn't talk to each other all these years.
And all we simply did, was probably my wife's idea. She said, "You should get the kids to come round, Talia. Go get the kids and bring them round to our house." So they all came round, they played in the backyard,
Yeah, I was there.
in the tree house and everything, and lives were changed because since then, we've realised tonight, Jemima and Dorcas and Miriam, the family's names were used in my family for years. My daughter has been texting me crazily in the last hour. She named her doll after Merv's sister, and she talked about this person she met for 2 days. But it was the first African person she met. And she was only 6,
Wow.
and it changed her life. We got on our phones. I said, "I've got to talk to Talia." And she's in the middle, and it gets even more amazing in that she's in the middle of the Northern Territory because her passion is Australian Indigenous people.
It was crazy for me because my sister's passion, she's studying psychology, and her passion has been to go to Darwin and work with Indigenous people. Now, how do you make that happen?
And Talia was
How-
in Darwin tonight.
How do you make that happen?
I call her and I say, "I'm with Jemima's brother."
She starts crying.
She starts crying.
We start crying.
She knows the name, and it's 13 years since we met. And so then we quickly got on FaceTime and put the phones together, and they saw each other. And she pulls out this photo and shows it to the camera, and it was Talia, my daughter Talia, on our sofa with all of them
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And she's held that photo ever since she was 6. And Jemima's got, because Talia's got the same photo, it was on her wall for years.
You don't understand that the person that you're sitting next to, there might be somebody amazing 10 years from now, 5 years from now. Appreciate them. How can we, as refugees and as Aussies, embrace one another? Is by removing the walls.
And a good way to remove the walls is just to open your front door.
Open your front door.
And that's all we did. And now here's 2 young women whose lives have been changed, and they're going to make a difference in this world. They've already made a difference.
Started.